All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. I hope you're doing good. Here's what I'm going to jump right into today. We're going to be talking about solutions of linear and nonlinear equations. Just moving along with what we've been talking about, lines, trying to find solutions. Now, when you think of a solution, what do you think of? Well, if you're thinking within the real world, a solution a lot of times can maybe include duct tape, okay? Something needs fixed, duct tape it up. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I know I do that a lot of times. If there's a problem, you try to figure out an answer. And so when we're talking mathematically, we want to know if an answer belongs as part of the question, okay? If the answer isn't part of the question, then it's probably not the answer, if you know what I'm saying. So here's what we're referring to. What I'd like you to write down is example number 1. And just go ahead and write this down. This ordered pair right here, -4, -1, and this equation right here, okay? In order to test to see if that ordered pair is part of the solution, that means that I should be able to plug in the x value and the y value into this equation right here, and equality should be maintained, okay? If we don't have equality here, we know we've done something wrong. So this is my x value. This is my y value. If I plug that y value in here for the y value, and I plug the x value in, again, do we have equality? And so I'm just going to simplify this side and see if it equals -1. If I do that, half of -4 is -2. And if we take -2 minus 3, that's -5. Does -1 equal -5? No. And so is this ordered pair a solution of that equation? The answer is no. Okay? And how you would write that, I would just show something like this. Show this work here, and then I would just say this. Not a solution. Okay? Because that work tells me why it's not a solution. All right, looking at letter B, if you were to, let's go ahead and write down the ordered pair here. And looking at this equation right here. Again, it's the same type of thing. The only difference here is I think they want to review what these brackets mean. Do you remember what those brackets mean? It's the absolute value. Okay? Absolute value means the distance from 0. And so if you remember, whenever we've got those brackets, it just changes to the positive if it's negative. So if I plug in my y value, if I plug in my x value, will I get 7 out of this? Well, I know this side's 7. The absolute value of 3 is just 3. Doesn't change in this case. And so we end up with it being equal. And yes, 3, 7 is a solution. Okay, pretty simple, right? Nothing too complicated. Now, it's actually even more simple if it's already been graphed. Okay, if it's graphed, 2, 0, is that a solution? If I go over to 2, 0, is that on this nonlinear, okay? This is called a hyperbola, or hyperbola. And so if I go over to 2, 0, 1, 2, 2, 0 is right there. That is on the hyperbola, and so as a result, yes, this is a solution. Okay? So those are the type of things that we're going to be looking at. Now, does it get any harder? Well, let's take a look at some of the examples from example 2. All right. And I know this doesn't show up real well on my computer here, but I believe, let me just look at my textbook here real quick. I believe there is a portion of these graphs that is shaded and will be important for figuring out the actual answer. So, as I look at the textbook here, and you can actually open up your textbook to see, what I'd like you to do is go ahead and graph the part A, letter A in this example here. And I know it's really hard to see. I can kind of see it now. This side over here is shaded darker than this side. And so if I go ahead and do something like this, just to kind of bring to your attention that there is a shading on this side, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, the question is this part of the shading? Well, If I go ahead and graph 1, negative 2, 1, negative 2, is this in the shaded region of the graph? And the answer is yes, it is in the shaded region of the graph. So as a result, 1, negative 2 is an answer, okay? Now I want you to look at, and I would like you to go ahead and graph this out, because again, your teacher is going to be, your sub is going to be evaluating whether you've taken notes or not. So this is valuable stuff when you're considering, did you take notes? I'd like you to go ahead and graph letters B and C and write down their ordered pairs, and then go ahead and answer that for me. Pause your computer while you do that and see if you can determine if those points are actually solutions to the graph, okay? And so go ahead and do that for me. Okay, hopefully you took a moment and went ahead and looked at that. If I was to go ahead and graph negative 2, 4, negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, obviously this is outside the area of the shaded region, so this is not going to be a solution. So not a solution. Okay, not a solution. All right. Hopefully you got that right. Letter C, 1, negative 3, if I graph that, over 1, down 1, 2, 3. All right, that point is within the shaded region, so yes, solution. This is a solution, okay? So again, those first two, pretty simple. Now we're going to take this up a little notch, and we're going to try to apply this to the real world. Taking a look at the next example here, example number 3, here's what we're given, okay? Part-time job. A survey is taken of students who work part-time jobs. If you guys don't have part-time jobs yet, I'm not sure if you're even allowed to have them at your age. When you do become 16, this is a great way to, it's a resume builder, okay, for those future jobs, whatever you're going to be doing, whether it's going to school or if you're going to get a job right out of high school, or maybe do the military thing. This is part-time job is a resume builder. The data graph represents hours worked and money earned per week for 10 students. Each point is labeled with the student's initials. The line of best fit is drawn. Now remember, if you don't remember what line of best fit means, it's the average of all the points. You guys talk a lot about how science and math, we're doing a lot of the same things. I'm sure you at some point in time this year drew the line of best fit in science. We did it a little bit in here, but I'm sure you probably did it more in science. So this line is a representation of all the data. Obviously, we have this. Now, you remember what we call that point when it's way off the average? We call that an outlier. So, A, who earns the most money per hour? Well, money per hour, if we look here, this is dollars. This is hours per week. And so this is money per hour. So as I'm looking here, the person that is furthest from this line, above it, earns the highest amount of money per hour. So as I'm looking here, looks to me, if we were to take this at 18 hours, earns $120. Now this textbook is obviously really old. So if I go ahead and take 120 and divide that by 18, clear. 120 divided by 18, we're looking at $6.67 an hour. And so obviously that's lower than minimum wage. This book is dated, but at the time that was probably decent money. Now, who earns the least amount of money? Well, if this is the highest above the line of best fit, we're looking for the lowest above the line, or lowest below the line of best fit. And we can either go KR, BF, or PS. I'm probably going to go BF right here. This is the lowest below the line of best fit. And so as I look there, let's see down here, it's 16 hours. They did about $75. So if we take $75 divided by 16, $1 per hour, they're making $4.69 an hour. That probably floors some of you because there's no way you'd do anything for that small amount of money. But yeah, that's that would have been back when I was in high school. Letter C, Nina works 14 hours per week, earns $75 per week. Would her data be above or below or on the line? So what we want to do is we probably want to graph this and figure out the answer. So 14 hours per week, I'm out here, and $75 per week. So I'm going to go up to 75 right there. Okay. So Nina, good job. You're earning above the average wage that a person makes right now with your class per hour. Okay. So that was some introductory information that I wanted you guys to do. I'd like you to show the sub your notes that you took, and then from there, go ahead and begin working on the homework. You'll probably get it done in class today. The homework can be found on my website, so just go ahead and turn that in and I'll give you credit for it. Thanks, and have a great night.